Hey yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my reaction gamers chat? Western games are doomed. This has nothing to do with me. In fact, this doesn't even involve me because I play all gacha games and stuff like that. So none of this actually, this really affects me. But, you know, I love talking about video games. Video games are fun, and especially hot characters in video games. Chat! Over here in the gacha side, this is what I'm born to do, is talk about, you know what I'm saying? All of them. All the hot characters, and it's hot characters galore. But when you talk about Western games, I don't know. I don't know what the point is of it. But chat, Western games are doomed. Let's watch this video. Let's go.
So I'm very much a homebody, almost embarrassingly.
I never leave the house. Legitimately, the only time I leave the house is to go to the gym or go to work. I guess in the grocery store too. But still, I don't leave the house. It's not worth it, dude.
So, and weekends are when I have the most time to dive into whatever game I'm currently playing through. Up
Same.
until about 3 weeks ago, that was Clair Obscur, which, yes,
Ooh.
I finally beat. But this
I still haven't played it. I need to get a new SSD, so because I don't have any space on my PC, and then I'm gonna be playing like Clair Obscur, which I heard is possibly one of the greatest games ever made. Definitely the best RPG ever made. So, or turn-based strategy game, I think, or RPG. I don't know. It's an amazing game though. 10 out of 10,
weekend was
what I
no
heard.
different. It's midnight on Friday night, and I'm working my way through Stellar Blade while my half-started
Ooh.
copy of First Berserker Kazan is staring at me
First
from my
Berserker
backlog.
Kazan.
And as I was running around Zion, something just
Is that Infinity Nikki?
clicked. Both of these games have super fun, fluid
Wait, is this Infinity Nikki? Ooh, damn. I feel bad for the people who play Infinity Nikki. Chat, you guys might not know, but as you know, they have had such terrible practices, and they've pretty much screwed over other player bases. But it kind of sucks because a lot of people will still play it because it is the only one of its kind. It's kind of like if Love and Deep Space screwed over its player base, there wouldn't be a lot of other games to play. There might be like Tears of Themis, but you know, Infinity Nikki is the one and only cozy vibe game like this. That's why it kind of sucks to see.
Something just clicked. Both of these games have super fun, fluid combat. Both have very attractive protagonists. Both nail that one more try addiction that keeps you glued to your screen, and they're both Korean made. As I realized
If
this,
you like Stellar Blade, you're gonna like Goddess of Victory. Nikkei. Sorry, go ahead.
it hit me. When did Korean developers quietly start dropping all these bangers?
There's actually quite a few Korean-made games that are bangers. One of them, unfortunately, didn't really sell here in the West, which was Rememento. It's a very well-made game, but it didn't really have the launch that it needed over here in America. It's been in Korea for a while. You might not like it, but Blue Archive is a game that continues to make millions of dollars a month. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's Korean made. Goddess of Victory Nikkei just made, I think, about $26 million last month. And the reason for that is because it did open up a new market, which is China. But still, they do make a lot of money. They made $28 million this patch. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of another Korean-made game. Stellar Blade, which counts with that, you know. But there's another Korean game that actually popped off, which is only available in Korea. It's called Seven Nights Rebirth. It made like 36 million last month. It made 12 million this month. I don't know what game that is, but Korean games are actually starting to pop off. Usually China is what really dominates the mobile market.
I started looking into it, and
Sorry, I really like mobile gacha games, so I have a lot to talk about.
I guess this has
I could go
just
on for
gone
hours.
completely under my radar, but developers from China and Korea, places that historically haven't made double or AAA titles, have
They don't need to. Do you, chat? Here, let me put it this way. Honkai Star Rail, which is just one there are 4 or 5 of them by Hoyoverse that are mobile games. Honkai Star Rail made $92 million in 1 month, last month, because of Kevin, because of Finon, because of the fake collab. They made $92 million. And you think that's it? Well, no, that's not it, because they have Genshin Impact, which made $65 million last month, $41 million this month, and oh wow, that's 2 games that sell well. Oh well, guess what? Now you have Zelda Zone Zero. Guess how much they made last month? 38 mil. This month, 22 mil. And then you have the kind of you have the other games that are making like about $1 million or 2 a month, which is Honkai Impact Third and Tears of Themis. So these games are making a lot of money, chat. I want you to know. But it's just that these are mobile games, right? These are gacha games. These are typically the games that I would be playing. These games with gacha mechanics and stuff like that, this is like huge. This is what, really pops off over in Asia, because they're all mostly mobile players. And that's why games that aren't really suited for mobile don't really pop off as much. Like, say, Wuthering Waves, it made 35 million last month. This month it made 16 million, but this is just on mobile. These are like the estimated mobile revenue reports. This game probably made a lot more on PC. And these games are actually a lot better than most of the games out there. I'm not going to tell you that much. It's really bad when Snowbreak Containment Zone has better gunplay than Concord. That's not good, bro. And they have feet. Anyways, go ahead.
Really been knocking it out of the park lately. And obviously, Japan has always had their share of home runs too. But these days, with how expensive games are becoming and with how awful some of our choices are, this really means a lot. We're naturally gravitating towards the games that respect our time and money, and over the past couple years, Eastern developers
they don't respect our time and or money, but at the very least, it's a very good game with very hot characters. Go ahead.
Been pulling us in like a black hole, and I'm loving it. It's no secret that Elden Ring and the Soulsborne formula.
Bro, what a masterpiece of a game. I spent like an entire month of like 6-hour streams just playing this game. I loved every minute of it in my first playthrough. Then I eventually ended up doing some more like challenge playthroughs with like no mimics, some mimics, certain builds. And it's not as big as you might think. I think running through all the bosses took me like a 6-hour stream. If I'm just running from place to place, and most of that was running,
have inspired many of these Eastern developers, and how could they not? Elden Ring was a cultural phenomenon, and
dude,
yes, I've seen gamers claim Souls-like fatigue, but I think that fatigue only happens when the games are bad. So just like what Mr. Gunn said, it's really just bad game fatigue. Here's the thing though, these Eastern developers saw the genuine love, and
I don't know if I really believe in superhero fatigue, because I think Invincible is popping off. Like, Invincible is actually having a game come out, a fighting game, and it actually looks pretty good. I think from what I've heard from people at EVO, they actually really like it.
Excitement people had for this genre and thought, we can make something players will love too. Most recently, we saw this with Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Yeah, there were optimization issues.
I heard it was a problem,
launch, but you can still see that this
it,
smaller team was genuinely trying to make something they thought would resonate with players. And since launch, they've apologized, they've released patches, and they've even given away in-game loot. Come on, they're obviously doing their best and working for us. They made this game for us, the players, and they want us to enjoy it and love it. That's the difference. Some developers are genuinely trying to make games with us in mind, and others just aren't. And the crazy thing is that these Eastern developers...
What is this? Lost Souls Aside. I've never heard of that. Wukong, Lies of Piss, Stellar Blade, Crimson Desert. What the hell is that? What is that? Where Winds Meet. That sounds pretty sick. Vindictus. Ballad of Antara, First Berserk Kazan, Tides of Annihilation. I haven't heard of a lot of these. I mean, obviously, I've heard of these three, right? Wukong, Lies of Piss, Stellar Blade, Wu Chang, and then First Berserk Kazan, but I haven't heard of the rest of these.
Developers haven't discovered some secret formula. They're not doing anything new or groundbreaking. They're just getting back to the basics, making games that respect players and want them to have fun. So all of this got me thinking about the state of our industry. What is happening with Western developers, and how are they so far behind their Eastern counterparts?
I wish I knew,
before
actually.
we get into the whole East versus West thing, let's be real. The gaming industry is getting squeezed from every direction. We've now got credit card companies trying to censor gaming content, games disappearing when servers shut down, hence the Stop Killing Games initiative, rising development costs making everyone...
I would say that I can't even say that that's not something you're going to experience here in gacha gaming, because that is the inevitable end of a gacha game, is that it will EOS at some point. What time that will be, you're not exactly able to guess unless it's doing really bad. Like Tribe 9 was a game that released and was a pretty good game. It was actually very, very well received. I think it was critically acclaimed, and it kind of had like a niche cult like following because it was kind of smaller. That game unfortunately will EOS by, I think, November, I think, is when they're shutting it down. But I feel like that game is a very special case. Even though it was only out for 2-3 months and before it made the announcement to EOS, I always thought that game wasn't meant as a gacha game. It should have released like a regular game, because it's made by the people who made Danganronpa. Like, it has that art style. Like, that game should have never been a gacha game. That game should have released as a full-fledged game. And other games like Genshin Impact, bro. That game has made $7 billion, I believe. And that game will EOS eventually, right? Every game's going to EOS eventually. And then the game's going to be gone. I can never go back to it when it eventually EOSs.
Risk-averse live service pressure from investors, the prioritization of modern ideology over good gameplay, and us just paying more than ever for games that we don't actually own. The entire industry is getting hit from all sides. Eastern developers, Western developers, everyone's facing the same stuff one way or another.
Not China,
but how
baby!
these developers
they probably aren't.
respond is what tells you everything. When faced with the challenges, some developers are doubling down on actually caring about us, the players, because they understand we're the ones who can actually help them succeed, while others have just stopped listening to us entirely. So let's do a little dissecting of what the West has been up to. Now, be warned.
Okay.
It's a little bit depressing, but don't worry, we'll get through it together. And then we'll look at how Eastern developers are truly here to save the day, and how not
I wonder what she's going to show for
going back
for
through
Eastern.
gaming history. It's such a bummer, because there was a time when Western AAA developers actually worked to make games with us in mind. You could truly feel that they really cared about what we wanted. Remember Assassin's Creed 2? Ubisoft spent years reconstructing
I've never played the Assassin's Creed game. I have a few of them. I think I have like 1, maybe 2, and then Black Flag, I think, which I think I have. Okay, I have Assassin's Creed 2 and I have 2 and Black Flag, and I hear these are amazing games.
Renaissance Italy with historian level accuracy, all while giving us a beloved protagonist and story that made you care about the world even more. It wasn't just for profit or to push some agenda. The team behind the game clearly had pure love and passion for what they were making, and it was obvious that they wanted the players to enjoy it. BioWare used to obsess over connecting with players. They'd spend months, years perfecting conversation systems and Mass Effect and Dragon Age because they understood that's how we bond with the characters. Thousands of lines of dialogue, branching narratives that actually mattered. It was all because they knew that's what their players would love. And Rockstar, their track record speaks for itself. GTA, Red Dead Redemption, they are making games 100%.
God, how long have I actually spent in Grand Theft Auto? It's really bad, and this is not counting, what's it called? This is not going to be counting, what's the word I'm looking for? Not going to be counting Xbox. I've played 774 hours on Grand Theft Auto Legacy or Grand Theft Auto 5 Legacy. And then I played Grand Theft Auto 5 on release, like hours, like legitimately. I sunk hours and hours into this game. I played it before it even released the multiplayer game. I love that game. I love Grand Theft Auto 5. It's such a good game.
Experience, which is why I'm really hoping GTA 6 doesn't disappoint.
But dude, I am too.
Across the board, going back through gaming history, there are so many examples of games that were made by people who wanted to bring players joy. You could feel the love in every mechanic, every system, every decision. Western AAA gaming was in its golden age. So what happened? Well, looking at the state of the industry right now, it's clear that so many studios have replaced respect and passion with greed, contempt, laziness, and just nonsense. They started shipping broken games at full prices that continue to creep up, cramming in microtransactions and live service monetization, expecting us to pay for unfinished products. Then
I still to this day can never explain why a game like Assassin's Creed needs a battle pass. Bro, you're not playing that game for more than a week. What? I don't understand. Why do they make a battle pass? Like a game where you're gonna log in every day and do dailies, sure, I get it, but Assassin's Creed Shadows? Bro, your game isn't gonna last that long. You're not... I don't get it, bro. I really don't. Just make a gacha game. You really want to put enough... Here's the thing that I'm wondering why Western developers don't do. You guys really, really want to put all this monetization in a game after making it like $70, right? This is what you want to do. This is what people have been doing. That's all well and good. Sure, fine. If you really want to do that, release a free-to-play gacha game. Just do it. You might as well give it a shot. Every other, all the Eastern developers are doing it, and they have very good success. Just do it. Just do it. You want to hit numbers like Genshin Impact, where they're almost at $10 billion made? Release a gacha game and make the characters hot. That is the absolute minimum. They have to be hot. Do not make it a Western kind of characters. They have to be hot. That is non-negotiable because people will have to want to pay for them.
Buy the rest as DLC. They've let cultural pressure override what we actually want. Now character designs have to go through committees that are terrified of making anyone attractive or appealing. They prioritize poorly executed modern ideologies over actual compelling narratives and characters. Everything they do at this point is for what the modern audience desires, but where are they?
I don't know.
Where is this audience and why aren't they buying these games? I mean, just...
I don't... Here's the thing. I don't know what a modern audience is. I don't know why everyone wants to cater to something called a modern audience. Why don't you just cater to your audience? You have an audience. You have people that you know are going to pay for it. Just cater to them. I don't understand. They're like looking for this. They're looking for the Loch Ness Monster when they have like a school of fish in front of them that they can easily just fish forever. And I don't understand it. What, like... There has never been a game made for the modern audience that has captured the modern audience and made a lot of numbers. It's really, really dumb to assume that yours is going to. And yet they keep doing it, and I don't know why.
Look at the lineup over the last few years. The Concord team allegedly spent over their $200 million budget just to make both a game and characters.
God, I wish I had $200 million.
And then they shut down after 2 weeks. Dragon Age: The Veilguard was in development for 10 years and somehow still launched with insanely awkward and lecture-heavy dialogue in a game where dialogue is
I'm not mad anyway.
Everything. The Saints Row reboot with over $100 million budget.
This one pisses me off. This one pisses me off, chat. I loved Saints Row. It has some of my favorite characters. I loved Johnny Gat. I loved Julius. I love the tragic story of Carlos. Like, I loved this series. Not even the game, dude. The series of Saints Row was something special until like 4. Then it gets kind of weird, you know? They kind of went their own way, kind of a weird way, but you know what I'm saying? It's fine. 3 was like probably the last one I really played, but man, it's such a tragedy, bro.
Completely ignored fan concerns and just steamrolled ahead to failure and ultimately the developer's demise. And don't even get me started on Ubisoft. Star Wars Outlaws only sold 1 million copies in its first month despite their massive marketing spend, causing their stock to crash to a 10-year low. Then there's Assassin's Creed Shadows and Skull and Bones. Flop after flop with these same awful...
I still think that Assassin's Creed Shadow could have been good if they just focused on Naue and, you know, had more than $10 in the voice acting. Well, that only matters to me, right? But they should have spent more than $5 on voice actors because, man, that they literally legitimately look like they got like people off the street just to voice these characters. But I think they should have focused on Naue for Assassin's Creed Shadows and then released Yasuke as a separate game. Because Naue was like almost there. I felt like her gameplay it needed a little bit more polish. And they couldn't polish it that way because they needed to focus on Yasuke. I think Yasuke should have been like his own. Yeah, I think it should have been his own game that wasn't Assassin's Creed.
Formulas costing the company over $178 million in losses for the last year. And their CEO keeps making these tone-deaf comments about it all.
Ubisoft CEO blames organized criticism for poor game reception. Just make a good game. I don't understand. Why is the answer everything but make a good game? Whatever. It's your money, bro. I don't care.
He can't be stopped. The list goes on and on. Suicide Squad, Redfall. What's the result of all of this?
Oh
Mass
God,
layoffs
Redfall was
across
something
the
insanely
industry.
bad.
Studios shutting down. And these companies bring all of this upon themselves. They cut corners, push low-effort development, and chase that mythical modern audience instead of truly serving the players who are actually supposed to buy their games. Studios that have been around for decades are getting shut down left and right because they followed these awful formulas, prioritizing monetization over quality, ideology over gameplay. There has been so much money wasted.
No way,
this
brother.
is basically the state of Western AAA games. Like I said, depressing. I mean, these are supposed to be some of the best of the best. We're talking millions of dollars here. Massive teams, huge historical successes, and somehow so many of their recent titles felt like they were made by people who just didn't care, or at least didn't care nearly enough. And we're at the point now where it's become so easy to recognize that disconnect and the lack of effort. I mean, you can basically tell immediately when you see a new trailer whether or not the game is gonna be a hit or a miss. Yes. Still looking at you and that beautiful glistening head. But all of this brings us to good
Got that Asmongold hairline.
news. When you look at what
Got that Tectone hairline head ass.
What's been happening in the East, the small teams of developers in China and Korea are fighting to put out double in AAA games while facing these same pressures, and so many of them are succeeding. The passion for what they do is shining through. They're fully focused on respecting their audience and giving us, the players, what we want. Fun fact, Black Myth Wukong's team spent 4 years traveling around China to 3D scan real locations out of pure love and authenticity. You can feel how much they cared about the source material, story, and the characters.
That game looks
I love
so cool.
that little Buddha. And they shared that passion with us at every step. And you know what?
Beyond Heaven and Earth.
It worked.
I alone
Black
am
Myth
the honored
Wukong
one.
cost around $42 million to make and has sold over 25 million copies. That's what happens when players feel like someone actually cares about them versus trying to force things on them that they don't want. Stellar Blade gave us a beautiful female lead and calculated physics for every single movement while refusing to compromise.
This is completely unrelated or anything. Man, it kind of sucks that she sucks in Nikke. She's actually not a really good character. Yes, Nikke kind of matters with the meta and stuff like that. That's kind of like the only thing we do now. Once you get past the gooning, you kind of have to care about the meta.
Compromise on a 60
But
FPS.
she's so
The game
fine.
launched pretty much bug-free too. That's them caring about our experience.
Bro, I need
and
this
you
game.
Can feel
I
it
need
in
it
every
now.
animation.
She is
and the numbers
so
prove
fine.
it. Stellar Blade hit 3 million copies sold with 1 million copies on PC in just 3 days when it launched on Steam. I mean, that's a legit accomplishment, right? A pretty protagonist and good gameplay really are an unbeatable combo. Another recent one is Lies of P.
Ooh, Lies
they
of
took
Piss.
the Souls-like
I thought Lies of Piss was Western. Is it not? Who made it?
formula and crafted this haunting, twisted Pinocchio-like world with such attention to detail and polish that showed genuine love for both the fairy tale and the players who love this genre. The market responded, and Lies of P sold over 3 million copies, hitting 1 million in its first month alone. And this also just gives me a chance to say, Eastern developers across the board are not afraid of making games that look good. Attractive, beautiful characters that aren't trying to check boxes, but are just trying to draw the player in and add to their experience and enjoyment. No intentional nerfing of their looks, no agendas, no ulterior motives, no nonsense. Just good looking, pretty.
Let me just show you a character that was just not released, but was just teased. Because these characters are usually teased. They call it drip marketing. We usually get characters drip marketed towards us. Let me just show you this character that will be released soon enough in Wuthering Waves. And she is such a gorgeous character. Here, let me pull this up. Augusta. Freak Superman. Chat, this is my reaction too. Just look at her, bro. She is so fine. And then there's like other ones like Iyuno up here. You have like all these characters. Chat, they don't care. They'll make the hot characters and they'll buy it. I feel like with this patch with the Iyuno and Augusta, I'm projecting at least 25 million in that patch, in that month alone. I'm calling it here.
Attractive characters and designs. And I've said this before, but I don't understand why this is so hard for Western developers.
I don't know.
Stop making your characters less attractive on purpose. But getting back on track, are all of these Eastern games perfect? No. I had the occasional frustrations with Black Myth's hitboxes, and I wouldn't say Stellar Blade's story is my absolute favorite, but
Stellar Blade hits 3 million copies, said devs sequel will have rich narrative missing from the original. I'm actually surprised by that because Shift Up, even though it is a Gooner game, Nikkei legitimately has some of the best stories in gacha gaming and some of the most like tragic, heart-wrenching ones too. Like the story, like the tragedy of Cinderella, or the story of Red Hood. Like, these are really good stories, bro. I actually really like these.
Here's the thing.
I even really like the...
Just like with what I was saying earlier with Wu Chang, they're clearly trying. They're at least putting in the effort, and you can easily see that these developers are working to make something they hope will love. The genuine care still comes through, even if the execution isn't always perfect. Yes, we want to get our money's worth and don't want to buy broken things. But from what I've seen across the internet, we're not expecting perfection, even at the AAA level. If you can see that the developer is valuing and respecting us, we're genuinely pretty forgiving, right? And it's clear that these developers are at least attempting to do that and serve their audience well, even when they don't nail every single thing. The total gap and difference between the approach to development between Eastern and Western devs is just so massive at this point. It's almost like they're going in
You know what else is, Matt? Sorry, go ahead.
Complete opposite directions of each other. One is obviously right, and the other thinks they're right while blindly charging ahead into the fire. And since we're talking about developers serving their audience, I feel like I can't make this video without at least mentioning that there are still some incredible Western indies who are fighting the good fight. Claire Obscure with Sandfall Interactive pouring love into...
I don't know if this counts as... I think this is a Western. I think Tyler is a Western developer. Bro, Schedule 1 was such an amazing game. I sunk so much time into it. I loved it so much.
Every story beat accompanied by great gameplay.
Expedition 33
sold over 3 million copies. And now they're having meetings with Square Enix. I'm not a card girl, but Balatro was made by one person over 2.5 years and
I haven't tried it
over
yet.
5 million copies, finding real success with its audience. Animal Well spent 7 years in development to create a highly praised Metroidvania that during launch month outsold every first-party Nintendo game on the Switch's eShop. Great job. And another Crab's Treasure, the Souls-like from Aggro Crab, reached 500,000 copies.
I need to try this. I need to try this because I love Souls-like games. Those are some of my favorite games.
Over 3 months, with the developer saying, you can't engineer virality, but you can put heart into the game. Heart. That's what we're talking about. Baldur's Gate 3 has sold over 15 million copies.
I still never played this game. I've never really been one for D&D, and I'm just not that creative to create my own story, but I hear this is like something that will never be replicated. Hopefully it will be replicated again by the next Baldur's Gate game.
Feel how much Larian loves this game along with its audience. Hogwarts Legacy sold over 30 million copies because someone finally tried to give us the Harry Potter experience we've always wanted. When you look
and number
at these
2
games,
should be coming out soon too.
That'd
be a fun thing to try.
Versus all the Western flops, right? The AAA disasters with their massive budgets will continue to be completely outperformed by developers who show genuine love, care, and appreciation. The pattern is crystal clear. When developers make games for us,
Tyler
we
made
respond,
Schedule
even when the
in a
games aren't
cave
perfect.
with a
That
box of
response
scraps.
sends a clear message that developers who try will be rewarded over developers who couldn't care less. And that message is creating a beautiful renaissance. You know that moment when you start a game and within minutes you're like, oh, this is going to be good. That feeling is coming back to gaming. Because when developers prove that actually caring about players works, it gives everyone else permission to care again too. When studios see Black Myth Wukong making $1 billion or Stellar Blade having immediate success on Steam, suddenly the whole industry has to choose. Start actually thinking about your players.
Unfortunately, I feel like they didn't choose right. Like, a lot of people are just they're just shit talking Stellar Blade. Like, unreleased Stellar Blade. I think the unreleased PC port of Stellar Blade was just getting shit talked by a lot of, like, journos. But again, who really cares? I couldn't remember the last time I even asked a journos their opinion, right? I have my own opinion. I have my own channel, so that way I can give my own. But, you know, they always want to try, bro. Why? It's like they try to fight it, and then it's just like, oh, well, I mean, you could keep making the game that you want to make, but you're not going to make money. Hey, if you don't want to, I've never been one to tell people to make money. If they don't want to make money, that's not my business, bro. I'm not going to sit here and yell at you because you messed it up. That's fine. That's fine. I can't tell you to be successful. If you don't want to be successful, that's your business.
Or watch the developers who do care about us leave you behind. This success is spreading. More Chinese and Korean studios are feeling confident that caring about players works at a AAA scale, and they're branching out beyond Souls-likes into every corner of gaming. RPGs, horror games, action titles.
They just released, or they haven't released it just yet. They're trying to, there's a closed beta right now for a game called Fate Trigger, which is going to be a Apex anime version. I've been playing it. I got into the beta. I've been having a good time. Except for the wolf guy. The guy who turns into like a wolf. Shout out to Bao the Whale. He kind of sucks. Or maybe I'm just bad with him. It's probably just because I'm bad with him. But it's like an Apex game with anime style characters, bro. It's a ton of fun and it's 4 players. You know, if Apex is going to go down the bad road, Fate Trigger is going to pick up the slack.
Bringing that same respect for players wherever they go. Just look at what's coming. Tides of Annihilation, which I'm super excited for.
Never heard of it.
Phantom Blade Zero, Blood Message,
Ooh, that looks
Crimson
cool.
Desert, finally launching. Hopefully. Project The Perceiver, doing this philosophical storytelling thing. Showa, American Story.
I think I've heard of this. Isn't this some over-the-top game? That's kind of cool.
Tackling alternate history. That feeling is coming through.
I think I've heard of
every
this.
Trailer, every gameplay reveal. These developers are trying to make something we'll love. And every game we buy is a vote for what kind of industry we want. When we support developers who make games for us, we're funding care over corporate nonsense. And right now, especially, our purchases matter because the developers who get it are fighting for us and fighting to keep that focus alive. Here's what I really believe. This isn't East versus West at all. It's genuine care and passion versus contempt and disrespect.
God, it shouldn't be East versus West, because West would be getting dog walked, bro, and not even close.
Developers who build with their audience in mind versus studios who've stopped thinking about us entirely. And after all of the chaos that's infected gaming development over the years, I still feel genuinely hopeful. We're proving that our voices and our wallets do make a difference, and that the future of gaming will be written by the developers who value what the players want. The Renaissance is real, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Are you feeling this shift too? What are some of your favorite games lately? Ones that clearly had a passion and respect for the player. I would love to hear your thoughts because honestly, my backlog is never big enough. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, unfortunately, my new favorite game isn't out yet. One of my games that I've been really looking forward to is a game called Neverness to Everness, NTE. It's by the same people who, if you've played Gacha games, it's the people who made what's the word I'm looking for? Tower of Fantasy. They are coming out with a new game. That game, I have been in the beta test. I'm actually a creator for them, and it's God. I can't wait, bro. That game was something that I can't wait for, bro. I really want it to come out. Chat. I don't know, man. It's hard to. It's like I don't want to play Gacha. It's like if I don't want to play Gacha games anymore, I have to play Western games, and there's just nothing for me to come back to. So you know what? Genshin Impact keeps coming out with solid updates. Wuthering Waves keep coming out with solid updates. You know, Zenless Zone Zero is one of my favorite games. It's hard to be like, yeah, I guess I'll go back, bro. There's just nothing for me over there. You know what I'm saying? But chat, let me know what games you're playing right now. Chat, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.